I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
Say what now? Beyonce and Mos Def, aka Yasin Bey, used to be a thing? Yep, that's the word on the street. Allegedly, before Queen Bee was locked in with Jay-Z, she had a lil something going on with Mos Def. But here's the twist. Folks are whispering that Jay wasn't having none of that. Right after those quiet rumors started circling about Bey and Mos being close, Jay-Z swooped in, and boom, he and Beyonce officially became a couple. Coincidence? People been saying Jay was already messing with Beyonce on the low before it was public, when she was grown, but still new in the game. So now it's looking like Mos Def might have just been in the way and got pushed out.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
And listen, with the heat coming down on Jay-Z lately, folks are finally speaking out. There's talk that a bunch of people who used to stay silent are now ready to spill everything they went through behind closed doors, including allegedly Mos Def himself being caught up in something shady. So what's the real tea? Buckle up, baby, because this drama is just getting started. So let's rewind to 2001. Beyonce was still rocking stages with Destiny's Child. But behind the scenes, she was already plotting her solo takeover. Seriously, this was way before Sasha Fierce, before Dangerously in Love, even before Formation. Bey was making big moves, and her first real leap, that acting debut in Carmen, a hip opera. And guess who was right there with her? None other than Mos Def. Now listen, Carmen, a hip opera wasn't just some random movie. Nah, it was a whole moment in pop culture. That era when hip-hop was crashing into Hollywood and demanding a seat at the table. Artists were showing they could act, rap, sing, do it all, and Beyonce and Mos Def were right in the middle of it all. The movie flipped the classic opera Carmen into a street-smart, gritty hip-hop drama. It was packed with betrayal, lust, ambition, you name it. And Mos Def? He had his own role that put him real close to Beyonce on screen. And yes, some of those scenes, way more than friendly. They had chemistry, no doubt. For Beyonce, this was more than just a film. It was her way of showing the world that she wasn't just some background singer in a girl group. She was ready to shine on her own. And she did it with style, drama, and a whole lot of confidence. After Carmen, a hip opera wrapped, the gossip started heating up. Word was, Beyonce and Mos Def might have taken that on-screen chemistry off-screen too. Now to be clear, neither of them ever confirmed anything romantic, and all their public links stayed strictly professional. But behind the scenes, the whispers were loud. Back in the day, there were strong rumors flying that Bey and Mos had something going on. One of the wildest bits came from Sifa Sounds, who shared a throwback story about kicking it with Destiny's Child during Beyonce's early days, before she hit full-blown icon status. At first, Sifa said he wasn't really feeling Bey like that, just saw her as another pop girl. But once he spent some time around her, he admitted she was actually mad cool. And then he dropped the real tea. He specifically remembered that Beyonce and Mos were definitely messing around.
Jay-Z is about to introduce me to her. We're at the 4040 nightclub, and he's about to introduce me to her, and he's like kind of awkward. He's like, yo, this is my girl, you know, Beyonce. And she gave me the look, like, which if you don't know how to read, Jamaican girl, what does that look?
But that's not where it ends. Cypher kept going and claimed he later worked with Pharrell, and that he and Beyonce had a lil flirty situation too. He was quick to say they didn't hook up completely, but apparently Pharrell had some things to say about how soft Bey's backside was, and it got real awkward when Jay-Z showed up, introducing her as his girl. Now here's the kicker. Allegedly, even after Beyonce and Jay-Z got serious, Mos Def still had feelings and wasn't ready to let go. One thing we've learned over the years, Jay-Z does not play when it comes to Beyonce at all. So when he supposedly caught wind that Mos Def was still showing interest in her, that's when things started getting real messy. Now some folks think this whole rumored love triangle might have been one of the secret reasons behind Mos Def's growing frustration and his so-called disappearance from the spotlight. Did he walk away to keep the peace? Or was he forced out of certain circles because he knew too much? See, Mos didn't just dip from music and Hollywood overnight. He was vocal about being fed up with how the industry worked. He called it out and said he was done. But behind the scenes, People have always whispered that his exit had more to do with Jay-Z than just industry politics. Allegedly, even after Jay-Z and Beyonce went public, Mos was still low-key trying to win her over, and Jay wasn't having it. Word is, Jay saw the sparks between them and knew something was up. So if Mos suddenly started getting shut out, let's just say a lot of people wouldn't be shocked if Jay-Z played a role in that. It's not just Mos Def. Other artists have felt the heat too, like Sean Paul. Back in the day, Sean Paul teamed up with Beyonce on their hit track Baby Boy. And while the collab sounded like magic, behind the scenes, things were weird. Sean said they didn't really hang out like that. He had major respect for her talent and beauty, but they weren't close off stage. When he got the call that Beyonce wanted him on a single, he was hyped and jumped on it without hesitation. He thought the song was going to be R&B, but when it turned out to be dancehall, he went with it and even called it a banging track. But here's the twist. Despite the song blowing up worldwide, Sean Paul only performed it with Beyonce 3 times. That's it. And why? Because the industry was buzzing with rumors that the two of them were hooking up. Sean didn't hold back. He said the whispers messed things up. People he'd worked with for years suddenly started treating him different. He even remembered one of their rare performances together at Reggae Sumfest during the Rock the Mic tour in 2003 and said folks were acting brand new, like, "Boss, now I'm a fan of yours." And Sean was like, "Now? After 3 shows?"
But there was a mix-up in terms of on the video shoot. When I got there the night before the video shoot, I was told I'm not in any scene with her, which to me at the time, the way I was thinking about the video was totally different. I thought we were gonna kind of act something out. So I guess with the rest of my team and everybody in Jamaica wanted to see me paired up with a star that she'd become huge. We're kind of disappointed. So people kind of got like that vibe, like, oh man, what's happening? And then rumors started to happen, and we did several performances together. But
Beyonce wasn't on tour every night, but when she did show up, it was usually to perform Crazy in Love with Jay-Z. Sean Paul, he was supposed to be part of the lineup too, but things quickly got weird. Sean said the second time they were supposed to hit the stage together, something felt off. He was doing a show in LA and was told to stick around so they could perform Baby Boy together. So he waited, went out hyped, crowd screaming, energy on point. But then, the vibe just died. Out of nowhere, the crowd started cooling off, even though Sean was going all in. When the performance ended, he went backstage, and that's when it hit the fan. His own band was furious. They were like, "Yo, that was messed up. You couldn't hear yourself? We couldn't hear you either." Turns out, Sean's mic was off. The crowd couldn't hear him at all. Somebody had straight up sabotaged his performance. At first, Sean tried to brush it off. Maybe it was a tech glitch. But when the same thing happened again at another show, he knew it was no accident. This time it was in Scotland at a big MTV event. And just like before, things started getting shady. They ran the rehearsal, everything seemed cool. But the tension behind the scenes? Way too real. Everything seemed smooth at first. The stage setup was fire. Literally, Sean Paul was supposed to rise from underneath the stage, then meet Beyonce at this huge center platform surrounded by flames. They nailed the entrance, no problems there. But when it was time for Sean's verse, "Your top girl," the track glitched out and kept looping "Baby Boy, You Stay" over and over again. Sean was standing there like, what's going on? The moment was completely thrown off. After that performance, things got even more tense, because that's when Beyonce finally pulled him aside. She straight up asked him about the dating rumors, saying it was messing with her image and career. And Sean? He kept it honest. He told her, "Look, I knew Jay before I knew you. We're cool. If he's got a problem, he should talk to me about it. This ain't coming from me." But after that, it was a wrap. Beyonce's team made it very clear there would be no more collabs with Sean Paul. Period. There was still one last planned performance at the VMAs, and Bey told Sean they'd rehearse beforehand. But the day before the show, while Sean was doing press, he overheard someone rehearsing Baby Boy without him. Confused, he ran to the label and they hit him with the truth. "Yo, they're not doing the song with you." So here's the real behind-the-scenes buzz. Allegedly, Beyonce told folks close to her that Jay-Z was not feeling Sean Paul's energy. Word is, Jay felt threatened by Sean's popularity and swagger. And to make it worse, the cheating rumors swirling around Beyonce and Sean had Jay-Z on edge. Sources claim Jay straight up accused her of having an affair with Sean Paul and told her to cut off all contact. immediately. Beyonce allegedly tried to calm him down, told him nothing was happening between her and Sean. But Jay-Z just wasn't buying it. Things got so bad, he reportedly became super possessive, even going as far as hiring private investigators to follow both of them around. And don't forget, this was all going down while Mos Def was still allegedly holding a torch for Beyonce too. So yeah, Jay-Z might have felt like he was surrounded by threats and reacted accordingly. But here's where it gets even messier. Sean Paul and Mos Def weren't the only ones. Over the years, there have been quiet whispers about other men suddenly getting pushed out of the industry after getting too close to Queen Bee. People are starting to wonder, was this a pattern? Now, with Jay-Z no longer sitting at the top untouched, with cracks showing in his so-called throne, folks like Mos Def are allegedly ready to talk. Word is, the fear around Hov's power might finally be fading. Let's be real, Jay-Z's shine just ain't what it used to be. With all the cheating rumors, public scandals, and cracks in that once perfect Carter image, the whole empire's looking shaky. And Mos Def, he might be feeling like now is finally the moment to speak up and spill the real truth. Just imagine the bombshells he could drop. Secret beef, shady power moves, what really made him step away, and maybe even how Jay allegedly tried to silence him behind closed doors. If Mo starts talking, it could shake the whole table. But hey, I want to hear from you. What do you think really went down? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next episode of Drama. See you on the next one.